Hello everyone, this is Dragonfly. Welcome back to our DCS World Mission Building and Playthrough series. We spent the past 4 videos building up a mission scenario, and we have a couple missions ready to be flown. So today I thought we'd start the first part of our playthrough and fly the first mission and see how all our work panned out, if everything is working as we expected. So right now we're here on the mission editor, and let's go ahead and get started. What I'll plan on doing is flying the entire mission all the way from the cold dark carrier on the Tarawa all the way back to landing on the Tarawa. So let's go through the mission now. Mission overview. The title of our scenario is the UN aid relief to Samtredia. Red forces have recently attacked the village of Samtredia with chemical weapons in order to silence political dissidents. And the United Nations has basically come in with some humanitarian aid and some monitoring forces. And they requested the U.S. provide a Marine Expeditionary Force as the military arm of their monitoring force. There is a tactical air control center in the region called Warhorse that'll be operating on mission-specific frequencies. And the Tarawa is the ship that we are on, and that's what we'll be flying off of today. Won't be doing any refueling today. So we'll go ahead and pick out our role. And we're going to take off from the actual Tarawa, so I'm using the first one here that we've built, the Cold Ship Harrier. Okay, the situation popped up again. And we'll scroll down here to our objective. We're only going to fly mission 1 today. And mission 1, we've just recently entered the Black Sea area, is going to be destruction of enemy air defense. An SA-8 providing point defense at the bridge just south of Samtredia is fired on a UN helicopter that is monitoring the area. So we need to destroy the SA-8 to send a clear message to the Red forces that interference in the UN mandate will not be tolerated. And our initial rules of engagement, we want to avoid escalating the conflict. However, we are cleared to fire on any SAM battery that poses a real threat to our aircraft. We need to contact the Regional Tactical Air Control Center prior to takeoff, just in case there's any updates to our mission. Okay, and that's our objective, kill that SA-8. So here we are on the Tarawa. There's our crew chief over there. And a couple other Harriers. It's going to be a single airplane mission today. So let's get started with the pre-flight. Get that fuel valve on, the digital engine control system on, the oxygen on. All the exterior lights I'll go ahead and turn on. But I'll leave the external light master control off since this is a combat mission. Boost pumps on. And I go ahead and turn the flaps on. I'm going to turn the lights up on the engine control so I can see them a little bit better. Arm the seat, close the canopy, turn all the interior lights up except for the floodlights, the volume up on everything. Get the battery on, call the crew chief. Chief, remove chocks.
Chief, remove the wheel chocks.
And I do use a voice activation program primarily. I'm not really going to do a tutorial on which buttons to push and things like that for the most part. So, and I recommend, if for immersion purposes, a voice activation program is great in DCS World. Okay, so now we need to get rearmed and refueled. Chief, refuel. Okay, see what we've got on here right now. Now, that's not exactly what we want. We're going to be doing a seed mission, so I want to take 4 sidearms. I may leave those. Yeah, I'll leave the F Mavericks, the infrared Mavericks on. Just 2 of those in case we need those. The gun with the armor-piercing bullets, and since it's a seed mission, I'm going to go ahead and put on an ECM pod. Now, me personally, I don't like to take off any more than 25.5 on the Taro. You can actually do it, but that's just what I like to use. And in some of my reading, I thought I read that was the max. Yep, it's a little bit high. That still gives us about 93% of fuel load. Not bad.
Request refueling.
Okay,
Request rearming.
in the interest of time, we'll go ahead and start the engine. Actually, you wouldn't do that, obviously, while they're rearming and refueling you, but we don't want to make this a 3-hour video. So, starting the engine.
Generator.
Refueling complete.
Caution.
I'll leave Betty on.
Generator.
She lets me know when the generator is kicked in.
Caution. Generator.
A little bit of fuel to the engine to get it started.
Caution.
At about 23% RPM,
Generator.
the generator should kick in.
Caution. Generator.
There it is. So Betty stopped. The JPT is still rising, waiting for the engine to stabilize it. Stabilize at 28.5. Looks like we got our weapons on board now. So I'm going to do a simple INS alignment by just going straight over to in-flight alignment. I'll turn on the dual mode tracker, DMT, and the FLIR.
Caution.
I'm going to turn off Betty on that one because she's just telling us we turn the INS on and not to move the airplane until the alignment's complete. Bring up our map. I'm going to change the color to red just because I think it's easier to see for both of us. And then I'll go over to the TACAN, turn it on. Channel 11 is what we put in as our TACAN for the Tarawa. And the altitude alert at 100 feet, because we are going to be doing some low level today. Enter. And the altimeter at the radar position. Maybe I need to turn the HUD on. I haven't turned that on. Okay. Go over to the VREST page. Short takeoff, STO. Now we'll look at that real quick. It says our nozzle rotation airspeed off the ship will be 87 wet. We are going to do a wet takeoff. And nozzles at 60 degrees. So let's get the nozzles to 60 degrees. And the I hit V-stall on the master HUD modes here and put in 87. And that way it will box it on our takeoff so we know when we hit 87 knots. Okay. Turn on our RWR. Our chaff and flares go to auto and the ECM pod to standby. Put our bingo up at 2000. Okay, all this is set up. Go back around the cockpit. Okay, that all looks good. We'll put the flaps down to STO once we get out in takeoff position. The map has come up, which lets us know the INS is up and aligned. Let's just take a quick look at our loadout and make sure everything got loaded right. So on the stores, we are carrying the 4 sidearms on the outboards and the 2 IR Mavericks, our 300 rounds of armor-piercing ammunition in the gun, and the ECM pod. So that all looks good. So back to the map. I'm going to go ahead and hit our waypoint over, increment it over to waypoint 3 is where the bridge target is at. Just that'll help us with our situational awareness. And if I hit designate, once we go into the air to ground mode, we'll actually get an arrow that'll point towards the target area. So, okay. And check one last thing. Yes, we are nose wheel steering, which I could have checked up here too on the HUD. So
Caution,
off we go.
Caution.
Parking brake is off, clearing to the right,
Caution,
and to the left,
caution.
or backwards.
Caution,
Taxi out to the
caution.
middle of the deck. And we need to call the Tactical Air Control Center here before we take off. That is what actually starts the mission. So, we'll stop here for a minute. I'll put the parking brake on. Okay, and that's going to be on radio 2, so I'll push radio 2 and put in, I think it was 261. We'll try that. And if that doesn't work, then we'll try something else. Enter. And I did put a little bit of a delay in there. Warhorse, Dragonfly.
Warhorse, how copy?
Okay, and he called back. Dragonfly, Warhorse, you're cleared to engage the SA-8 SAM at the Sam Treaty Bridge. Avoid escalating the conflict. However, you're cleared to engage any enemy air defenses that are hostile towards your mission. So, no changes in the ROE. So let's get our EW page up so we can monitor the situation. Right now it's clean except for the ship, which is channel 40. Okay, pre-flight check, pre-takeoff check, excuse me. The nozzle stop is set. The flaps are in STO all the way down. Stabilizer trim is 0. We said we were going to do a wet takeoff, so we'll turn that water on. Boom, the water is on. And the brakes are off. And 87 is our nozzle rotation airspeed at the end of the deck. We're ready to go. We'll climb out straight ahead initially and then turn over towards waypoint 3. Power coming up. I like to bring it all the way up to about 80% before I release the brakes. Release the brakes smoothly up. It's about 1 or 2 segments on the RPM gauge there. The gear comes up. The witch's hat smoothly up into the pitch carrots. Start bringing the nozzles back to 0. Past 120 knots. Make sure the gear is up and the water is off. Flaps are coming up around 140 or 150, just to auto. And the nozzles are all the way up to 0. And our power comes back below 100%. Take care of that Pegasus engine. And start turning over to a heading of 065. We don't want to go too high because we're going to ingress low level. Which actually we're kind of high right now. We need to get back down on the deck. So let's go ahead and fence in. I'm going to go ahead and put the master arm to on, the HUD master mode to air to ground. Right now we have nothing selected. I'm going to start cooling down the Mavericks because they take a while. It'll take about 3 minutes to get them all cooled down. So I'll do that here. And I'm going to put the ECM pod to receive. See that diamond out there is actually our target area. And let's get down to below 500 feet. Well, so far so good. Looks like they aren't monitoring us or aren't lighting us up on with any SAMs. Put about 90% on the RPM, ought to be good. I'll just briefly go over the RWR. The outer ring is considered the non-lethal ring. Well, actually, I'll go back to how an RWR actually works. It actually works on power output, not on range. So when you see something on the RWR, it doesn't give you an indication of what range you're actually away from the threat. It's the power output. So anything that's in the outer ring is kind of considered to be in the non-lethal ring. Doesn't mean it can't go into the lethal ring, which is the center ring, but generally you don't have to watch out for those threats as much. Now, the inner ring is considered the highest priority ring, and I'm kind of not exactly following my flight plan because I want to use a little bit of terrain masking here. And I'm not flying real low, but as you can see, we're about 20 miles out from the target. And it's about 20 degrees over to this direction, so let's go a little bit further over. Actually, I'm going to put the target me between the rocks here. Obviously, eventually we're going to have to pop up and let that SA-8 light us up, or we won't be able to kill it with a sidearm. Need to be within about 10 nautical miles of the target, the SAM, in order to kill it with a sidearm. And obviously closer is a little bit better. But at the same time, the closer you get in, the harder it is to evade it if they shoot at you. So a little bit of a game of chicken. And you can see I'm trying to keep this ridge between us and the target area. And the target area is that diamond. Once you get, I think it's 30 degrees off of the heading of the your target area, then that's when you will see the arrow in the center of the HUD, which kind of points to, hey dummy, you need to be going over to the left. Okay, it's time to bring up those sidearms. Uncage them so that the seeker head is a little more sensitive. About 6 miles out, I'm going to start turning a little bit more toward the target. Remember, we've got chaff and flares too, so if he does light us up, I'm going to be hitting some of those chaff bundles. Let's see, we'll go around this hill here. Seems to me that might be that's going to get us in pretty close. Actually, let's go ahead and pop up now. Pop up. Couple bundles of chaff. There he is. He's lighting us up with the 8 there. Okay, we got a lock. Let's go ahead and hit some more chaff and turn to put him at our 90-degree position. That's what they call beaming them. On the old Doppler radars, beaming a radar would actually make the radar think that you were sitting still and not a valid target, because Doppler actually works on speed change. Okay, let's see. I'm still seeing an 8. I don't think it was the one that we just shot at, so I'm figuring we probably kicked the hornet's nest here, and now some of the other Dragonfly Warhorse ELINT assets indicate the SA-8 is off the area, cleared to return to base, so that's good. We did our mission. And that 8's in the non-lethal ring, so that looks good. I need to head back to the ship, so I'm going to hit nav here real quick and put the tack in up to see which direction we need to go. Let's see, looks like 255 at 34 miles. It doesn't seem to have excited Red Forces too much. They haven't brought up anything other than that one initial 8. I thought we were going to have to fight or evade our way out of here. Now we still have a lot of gas to be landing back on the ship, so I'm going to go ahead and start dumping that. Hills. No reason to make ourselves an easy target. We can also disengage that target by hitting the nose wheel steering button. Working our way over. To 258. $17 miles out. Gas is down to 4,000 pounds. Okay, what was that? Okay, that was just the ship. Nope, there's a 6 over there in the high priority area. We need to let's get down and beat feet up here to the north a little bit before he decides to take a shot at us. Okay, he's not on the scope anymore, so that's good. Miles out. Let's see. Every time you hear that little beep, that's a change on the RWR, and you should look down to see what's going on. Most of the time, it's just the ship, which is the number 40 there. And the N, that just stands for north. That's nothing on the RWR really. Helps you with your situational awareness of which way is north, but. Okay, going feet wet. 10 miles out. bring up our landing data here real quick, make sure our gross weight is down low enough. Yeah, we're down under 20,500 pounds. But we still have a lot of weapons on board. I'm going to dump those over the water here. I know. It's in DCS World, they're free. I wouldn't do them probably in real life if I was able to. Okay, we need to start slowing down a little bit, pop up to 800 degrees or 800 feet. There's the ship. We're headed right abeam it, so we probably need to turn a little bit to the south and get behind them. Come up on it. I don't know what the Navy calls it. The Air Force was called an initial. To fly an overhead pattern. 350. Okay, we need to 350 knots. We need to be in V-stall. Need to make sure that the nozzle stop is cleared. And master arm off. Got a little bit high there while I was talking. Turn westbound, find the boat again here. There he is. She is. So we'll start turning in towards her. A little bit slow. Let's get her speed back up. That old diesel engine on that Taro, I can see it from a long ways out. Okay, turn to heading about 350 here. Okay, lined up on about a 2-mile initial here. We'll check the deck as we're flying over to make sure it's clear. Again, a little bit fast. Yep, looks clear. Extend out about 10 seconds. That ought to be good. Now we're in the brake. I just pull the power back a little bit on the Harrier because she slows down pretty good when you put a little bit of G on her. Don't put too much, about 2 G's, level turn, 60 degrees of bank. Turn into a heading of about your reciprocal heading, 180 degrees, about right there. Power back a little bit, there's the ship. Gear down, water on, flaps to stow. Okay. The 60 degrees on the nozzles initially and start my turn. Now I believe I read somewhere or saw it on YouTube that they want you to fly about 12-degree angle of attack. This is your angle of attack right here. That seems a lot to me, but I don't want to go below 325 feet altitude. That's the key altitude at a half a mile. And then when we get to a half a mile, 325, we'll be putting the nozzles to 82 degrees. Ship's doing about 27 knots, I think is what we, in our mission planning we put. Keeping the witch's hat down. I usually keep it down about 4 degrees or so, just because keeps the speed up a little better. See, we're doing about 85 knots. Just a little bit high, so I'll bring the velocity vector down just a little bit, pull a little bit of power, let it come down just a little bit. I'm going to be flying off to the left side of the ship. Okay. That's coming up on, that's 0.7 miles, that's close enough. Let's go ahead and go 82 on the nozzles. Bring the velocity vector down just about the middle of the superstructure or so. We're going down to between 150 and 120 feet. We've got about 20 knots of overtake on the ship. He's doing about 30, we're doing about 50. A little bit too far wide, too wide. Let's get in a little closer. Now 10 knots of overtake. Climbing a little bit. We don't need to be doing that. Bingo, that's good. Seven knots of overtake, looking good. Get the witch's hat down about 5 degrees right now. I actually need to even push it down even farther. Keep that speed. I like about 10 knots of overtake. I think that works pretty. It's pretty easy to kill off. Now we're going fast, 50 degrees or 50 knots. So bring the witch's hat up. Keep level here at about 140 feet. Bring the witch's hat up using back pressure to about 3 degrees or so. Yeah, looks like even 2 degrees. Kill off that speed. Alrighty, looks like we're stopped beam the ship. Line in formation with the ship. Let's go ahead and a little bit of aileron and move over. A little bit of aileron back. A little bit down on the witch's hat. Get the speed back up a little bit so we don't velocity. A little power back. Start coming down. And a little power back. Okay, we're over the ship where we want to be. Power off. Or not off, but just back slightly. And we're down. Yeah, you never want to chop the power. That wouldn't have been good. Okay, the parking brake is on. The water is off. Okay. Now, let's check. I'm going to check the F10 map just to see what SAMs did come up after we destroyed the SA-8. Yeah. There was an SA-8 at Katuzi that activated. This is the armor at the bridge, which will be our next mission. Yep, and an SA-6 down around Kobuleti. So, resume here. It looks to me like we did a good job on that mission, not only in building it, I believe everything worked just like we anticipated, but also in flying it. And could probably even add a few more SAMs in there to make it a little bit more challenging, but I thought it was fun. Hopefully you all thought it was fun too. Let's check our results and then we'll finish this video. So hit quit. Okay, we scored 15, killed 1 vehicle. It's funny it doesn't put it as an air defense vehicle. And the results, 100% mission effectiveness. We did what we were supposed to do. Didn't kill any other SAM, so we didn't escalate the political situation. Just perfect. Well, hopefully you all enjoyed that. I enjoyed flying it and talking to you about it. And as always, I learn something every time I do this, and I appreciate any feedback. So you all take care, and we'll see you the next time. Bye-bye.